people are so beautiful, and all I'm seeing is the beauty. But I'm also aware through a lifetime of painting people that they don't always feel or see that. We can't see ourselves. That's the human dilemma, isn't it? And we're always curious, we're always wondering, how's the world seeing us? And so it's a sort of luxury. If you're a painter, you can look at people. I always think about when you're in an Uber or something, they ask you what you do, what you say. If I'm not lying, I will say I'm an artist, and then they say, oh, what kind of an artist? And then you say, I'm a painter. And then they say, well, what kind of painter? So I go, oh, I paint people. So I think that's probably a good place to start. I paint people. I guess, like most children, or I don't know if it's most children, but anyway, I'm one of 4 children. We were always making things, and our mum was always giving us stuff to, fabric and felt tips and crayons and stuff. So we were always making things and drawing and playing games. And so I guess it was part of my life always. When I was about 11, we went from the small town where we were living and lived in what was then Yugoslavia for a year. We were meant to go to school in Yugoslavia, but we started. They were speaking Serbo-Croatian, and obviously we didn't speak Serbo-Croatian, so it was quite hard. In the end, we just hung around at home. So then me and my sister started making paper dolls to entertain ourselves. Anyway, we got more and more and more involved, so the whole room was full of these paper dolls. And then in the end, we didn't really want to leave the room because we're so busy making these paper dolls and drawing and talking. And it was obviously quite annoying to my mum because we were living in Zagreb, and it was really interesting. And then we were like, no, we'll just stay in this bedroom and make these dolls. Anyway, I always think of that as the moment I realised that living in my mind through making things, that's being an artist, and actually the desire to be in the room. And it was all consuming and intoxicating and a real high. And so I think forever since then, I've always chased that feeling of immersion through making a narrative and pursuing something visual. Yeah, I'm always looking to get back to that room in Yugoslavia. But yeah. I'm fascinated by people and by their bodies and their heads and their hair and their eyes. I mean, my earliest sketchbook is just a bunch of heads. It's like in biro, it's endless men with beards, heads. It's a really crap sketchbook, but people are always a big thing for me. And I remember sitting on this bus to school looking at women's legs, trying to work out how, every woman has a different shaped calf, and then trying to draw, and just trying to understand your way into that. And then worrying also that people think I was kind of weird at school because my school book was covered in legs. I think like a lot of people on the bus or the tube, I'm always interested in looking, and sometimes, there's that feeling like if you're swimming or something, you shouldn't be looking, looking has got more and more kind of bad. And so often I'm like, put my eyes away, trying to stick to, like I'll be swimming along at my pool and somebody will come out and I'll be like, it's probably just as well I'm not a man in some ways, because I maybe cut that bit. But yeah, it was funny. I met a friend here on Saturday, an old teacher who'd come to see me, who's a really brilliant painter, and he was sitting here and I was sitting there, and it was in shadow, the room, and all I could think about was the shape of his nose. He's got this very beautiful, slightly wiggly nose, and his whole face was half shadow, half light. And it's funny because he was talking and I was really interested in what he was saying, but I also was mostly thinking about his face and the shapes it was making. I think that's a lot of the time when I'm talking, I'm looking at people and thinking about them in that way. The shadows or their eyes or the sheer beauty of people as well. I'm always amazed by how beautiful they are if you look at them. But I'm also aware, I'm now, through a lifetime of painting people, I'm sort of aware that they don't always feel or see that how I see them. It's a hard thing because, and I have this over and over and over, it's like, I'm like a kind of an idiot because I paint people and they're intoxicatingly beautiful to me, and the painting, I'm like, wow, wow. For about a minute, I'm like, wow, yeah, I've really got them, wow, they're so beautiful. And then I turn the painting to the sitter and they go, and their expression is not like, wow, you've made me so beautiful. It's like, what the hell? But it happens over and over. And now I've got a bit wary, and often I'll go, I'll show you next time. But in my head, I'm like, wow, totally beautiful. And then sometimes I'll show my daughter and she'll go, Mum, what have you done to them? But it is really like them or something. And I'm like, so I find it it's like a kind of blindness as well. It's like, I don't know. It's not even like, yeah, I'm such an honest painter. I can't lie through paint. It's not that. It's literally, I'm describing what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Their particularity, their specificity. I mean, I've been painting Charlie, who's behind me. I painted him twice, and he's really beautiful. I mean, I love his hair is sort of flicking to the left, and I'm loving the way the little points of the hair, or just everything. But I mean, also I'm pursuing getting lost in it. So at some point you're losing consciousness of you or the sitter. You're kind of losing yourself, I guess. I don't know if this is the same thing, but I once painted a friend who'd been very sick, and I painted her naked, and she kept laughing, going, "You've given me your breasts," kind of. And I was like, God, I have literally, that. Maybe there's an act, I don't know if transference or substitution or seeing yourself in the other person, or, literally blurring that kind of. I mean, I'm also aware that I've made Charlie quite feminine, and I've given him partly, so you do, I think you blur it and kind of mix it up maybe. I think this often happens that maybe 2/3 the way, and I'm still thinking, this is a disaster, this is a mess. And they're here, there's a sort of obligation to get something, to make something happen. But also there's an act of, it's a bit like acting. You're like, I'm pretending to be an artist, I'm pretending I can do this. And they're sitting there trusting you to do something, and they've given you their time, and you should, so it's a weird suspension of your own disbelief and theirs. So often 2/3 the way, and I'm thinking, this is a real fuck up. I'm not going to get anything, and this is just going to be a waste of their time. And then suddenly something maybe will shift on a good day, but it's hard to describe what that is. I don't know. Suddenly you'll get a sense of, I don't know, the side of a neck or an eye, or I don't know at all. Like often I'll be just scumbling around, messing around when they're there, and I'll think, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to do it. And then at the end there is a picture and I'm always amazed that there's anything. But almost it's an act, like almost disassociation, or an act of, I don't know, like Zen archery or something, you know, whether you catch anything. I mean, an easy way to start is to draw with the paint. So I'll draw a shape or an outline, or, you know, the sort of space of the figure within the rectangle or something. But it's a bit like chess, you know, like how you start a chess game. You can have your set of opening moves or something, which kind of are good to fall back on. But then it's always good to not use those opening moves or something. Whether you have a sitter or not, whether it's me on my own, it's really important. I'm finding something new each time, not repeating myself. Not, that seems like death and a bit pointless, really, to make a painting you could have made before. You know what? I don't know if better is the right word, but always different. You know, even if it's bad, different. It's good. It's different, and that's quite hard. The older you get, the harder it is to find something new or different or change. And that, but it's really important to not stay in the same place, to surprise yourself, I guess. I often think there's a really good Degas quote where he says, you should always start somewhere else. Don't, you know, like when you start a drawing or a painting, don't start in the same place. You know, don't start with an eye or a, so then I'll think, okay, yeah, and I'll start with the foot, or, you know, I'll try and find a different way in, or like I'll start with a tonal sort of outline or drawing, but I like not to have a way. It's like I was doing these big paintings, big male nudes, and that was incredibly exciting to me because I mainly also painted women, so painting a male nude felt really strange, actually. His body was very strange to me because all the hair, you know what I mean, and women's bodies are not so hairy often, and also if you were painting a woman who was very hairy, you'd be worrying slightly about how she might feel about that as well. Anyway, that would have a whole other conversation, whereas, so with him, I was thinking a lot about how the black hair on his arm would contrast against his quite vulnerable naked body and what that meant. But also those ideas become kind of abstract as well, so it's like his long legs against the hairy arm against the, you know, sheet of the bed or something. There's an Alice Neal show, and I was thinking a lot about her, and I was thinking about her painting of John Perrault and male nude. And I was thinking about her ability to paint with incredible honesty, and she always seems to bypass her worries about the people, the subject. She cuts to the chase somehow and is very direct and kind of, and I wanted to think about that in terms of a male body, and that she'll look really hard at the figure, and, you know, she doesn't shy away from any truth about that. So I thought, okay, I'll go to a male nude, that'll be really, in a very obvious way, there's only one place that can go, and I thought it was important to me to try and address that and try and sort of have a conversation with Alice Neal in a funny kind of way. But then, funnily enough, when I was painting, the person I was thinking about most was Manet. I was thinking about Olympia. I mean, because it's a, you know, a reclining nude and stuff, so I was thinking about that and vulnerability. I mean, there's a lot of power in it as well. There's funny power in painting people, you know, because we can't see ourselves. That's the human dilemma, isn't it? None of us can see ourselves or see how we're seen. And we're always curious. We're always wondering, how's the world seeing us? And especially when you're young, and I see it with my daughter, that you're always wondering, am I pretty? Does somebody see me as pretty? What are they seeing? And we're never going to know. We're never ever going to know how we're seen. So that's kind of eternal kind of question. But then you see a painting and you're like, oh my God, that's how somebody saw me. That's so weird. It's such a fascinating thing. I think it's sort of, I was always struck when I was young as well, when we get photos back pre-phone, and everyone's just looking for themselves in the photo. They're not interested in, anybody else. Like, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? That's not bad. It's just human, isn't it? To look for we're all trying to see ourselves. And I guess painting is always leaving self-consciousness behind. That's also what I'm chasing, is to lose that division or something between ideas about how somebody looks or should look or feel they look. And you know what I mean? Sort of collapsing that all and making a painting. I often think about, those Van Gogh self-portraits where he's actually painting the bandaged ear, and it's like the most, you can cry in front of them. There's something, also the fact that you can look at them and commune across time with him and see. So he's looking in a mirror and you're looking in his eyes at that moment when he's painting himself, having tried to cut his own ear off, cut part of it off, and yet he's still thinking about the blue against the red against the, so he is finding enough peace of mind to make the painting, which is in itself redemption, that we all recognize for ourselves, which is incredible. Painting, I think it's kind of magic. It's like magic. It has a kind of, it has power.